Hi and welcome along to Talking Transfers. I'm back in the hot seat again. That guy James is away again. This time he's at Silverstone for the Formula One. This guy gets around, bro. I don't know where he's getting all this money from. Right, but James is not here. I'm in the hot seat, joined by Laurie. Right, we got Turkish in the building and making his debut here on Talking Transfers. Right, once was the local man, now the global man. Fresh back from Nigeria, where he was on stage with Saka, Bukayo Saka, on stage. Give it up for the global man, Kelechi.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm happy to be back. Thank you. We are local people still.
How was that, man? How was that experience?
Brilliant
you
experience.
And Saka over there in Nigeria.
Yeah, brilliant experience. I want to thank him and his team for involving me. Going back to the motherland to receive blessing and make impact is all that matters. He came back from Nigeria, scored a hat-trick for England. You see that it works. Even Mbappe is in the motherland now as I'm talking to you. So that's how it works, my brother.
What was he like?
He was a very quiet, very
Saka.
humble, very humble kid. Just wants to get things done. Even the trip was a quiet, private one. Not much as yes, he now got public, but was just quite humble. Close-knit family. That's it. He wants to make impact. Hopefully this season, we'll continue to progress and do.
So you didn't ask about any transfers or anything?
No. We can't comment on private discussions.
Listen to this guy. ITK here. Yeah. All right. In private, you can give us a little.
No comments, please. No comments. No comments.
Well, anyway, one of the players he may have been talking about is this guy behind us, Declan Rice. The deal is done. Declan Rice signing for Arsenal, £105 million. We've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now, 2-3 weeks, but now it's finally done. It's finally here. Declan Rice, how is this signing going to change Arsenal?
First of all, he has a big song in Nigeria. Declan Rice.
Yeah.
So he's very popular in Nigeria. So what is what we want him? You understand? He's our boy. You don't understand? He's our boy. His song is like #1 in Nigeria. So we're very happy. He's going to, we know about him. He's a very good player. I think he's going to, help us go forward as well. Captain West Ham side to Conference League. Is it UEFA Conference League, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which was very brilliant. I don't expect anything less.
I saw you on a video the other day, Turkish, and you was talking about some of his stats when you were looking at it. How some of his stats really impressed you.
Yeah. I wanted to see that, what he brings that the other midfielders we have don't. I've watched a bit of Declan Rice over the years, but I'm not a West Ham supporter, so I don't watch 90-minute games week in, week out. Quality player, but when you look statistically, there was a graphic on Sky Sports. Compared to our midfielders, he wins the ball back a hell of a lot more. Interceptions high up on the list in terms of Premier League players all round. Ball winning duels high up on the list. Very high compared to a Partey or a Xhaka and the midfielders we have. And when you couple it up with the Havertz signing, it does seem like Declan Rice will be that kind of destroyer who can also run with it between the lines. But Havertz and Odegaard will be the 2-8s or the 2-10s, however people like to see. That's kind of what Pep likes to do with the Bernardo Silva and the De Bruyne. He likes to have two creative 8s, 10s with a destroyer behind. So it looks like we're headed down that path. And as much as there's question marks about Havertz, I guess if you open up the space for the 2 in front of the 6, then there should be more opportunity for the technical ability to show. So I'm holding my horses on the Havertz one because I think the Rice one will complement that one well, and I think that's what Arteta has in mind.
We paid a lot of money from £105 million. Is it worth it?
Well, yeah, because you have to go by market forces. You're only worth as much as people are prepared to pay for you, and you've got to remember that Man City, they bid significantly, and for me it's a statement signing. You look at the player, Turkish touched on it, he's got all the attributes that we need in terms of winning the ball back, being that destroyer. He does everything, and crucially, last season he started adding goals to his game as well, which will no doubt help us out. So yeah, I'm made up about that signing, man. I think he's everything that Arsenal need right now, definitely.
Yeah, Jurriën Timber also, another signing, Kelechi, and another player that he sort of came out of the blue. When the news dropped on it, nobody was really expecting this one, but Manchester United were trying to buy him last summer. Arsenal have moved for him this summer. he's looked upon as an exceptional talent over there in the Netherlands, and he's coming in as well, and that's another bit of quality.
Yes, and that's more competition for the defensive positions that we have. I mean, in Man City, I mean, we keep using them as a yardstick. They have like, 4 or 5 central defenders that can come in at any time and play multiple positions. I like the Timber signing. Either maybe he plays in defense or he can do a John Stones role, you know, for us as well. So, I mean, these are statement signings, like Laurie said, and that will push us, you know, a bit forward. The only maybe slight concern I have is with the Kai Havertz signing. Going forward, I don't have a problem. But if you're going to kind of replace Granit Xhaka was also good tracking back as well. Turkish mentioned Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva is also good tracking back. At the point this season, he was playing left back. Bernardo Silva, I mean, last season he was playing left back. So he has to get that defensive. I know that Declan Rice is there, he can mop up and do everything, but still sometimes he will need help. You know, and that is where maybe, sorry, I'm digressing a little bit, that's where maybe I disagree with maybe this selling Partey, for instance. No, don't do that.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
I saw the other day where there was even some suggestions saying that Timber could even play in midfield.
Yeah.
As a holding midfielder.
I think when you look at his profile and what I've read up on him, the brief highlights I've seen and the brief times I've seen him live here and there over the last couple of years, he can play in midfield, but it'll be a case of going into midfield from a defensive position. He's like Zinchenko on the other side. And that opens up, you know, multiple avenues and options for Mikel. Because when Zinchenko was out last season, we struggled to find an inverted fullback, whether it's left or right, to do a similar role. We trialed Partey there for the last couple of games of the season, which I think, you know, worked out well enough. But you can see maybe an eye into the future of what Mikel wants. And Timber coming in, composed on the ball, takes a hell of a lot of touches. He's kind of the go-to man defensively for Ajax. He's kind of a conductor from the back. So he's got all the attributes needed. Again, a lot of his stats are similar to Declan Rice's in terms of interceptions high up on the list, ball winning duels high up on the list. He's a smaller profile than the rest of our defenders, but on the ball, he has exactly what Arteta wants. So I'm actually as excited about this signing as I am Declan Rice.
Yeah, well, new contract for William Saliba as well.
Yeah,
which again, that's
very
really
excited about
important.
that.
It's signing up, you know, one of our best young talents.
Absolutely, that's important because there's recruitment, but there's retention as well. And in any business, that's just as important. Got to keep hold of your best talent. So that's a crucial bit of business. Just want to say though on Jerry and Timber, Crimea River, I would say that he gives me Saliba vibes. Bit like Turkish. When I heard about the interest in him, I went and did my research, as you do, and he looked composed on the ball, he's very athletic, and he will be a very good acquisition to the team. Like Turkish, I'm really excited by this signing, man.
Yeah, excited to see him. Another player that's, I mean, it's been such good, positive movement by Arsenal this week. Reece Nelson, new contract for Reece Nelson, who I thought he had a good season last year, even though, you know, he was injured for part of it. But then he came in and he was an impact player off the bench. He was outstanding. And he signed a new deal, Reece Nelson, to stay at Arsenal, Kelechi.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. You know, Arsenal through and through. He's been there for 15 years or something.
Since he was 8 years old.
8 years old, yeah. So it's a good you know, extension. I wasn't expecting him to extend because being a football player, you want to start games. But you already know that there are people in front of you, and they might even sign extra people. So and then for him to sign, maybe he's been promised a role, I don't know. But on the Saliba one, I love the contract, but I'm just a bit surprised that, you know, there's no, what do you guys call it now? When you get the option of an extra year in the contract.
Oh, yeah.
I think there might be an option.
No, there's not.
Romano says there is, and Ornstein says there isn't.
There isn't. Yeah, exactly. So honestly, I saw the Ornstein one. He said there isn't.
Yeah, there is.
Well, anyway, 4 years is still long.
No, 3 years.
4 years.
2007. Sorry. No, we're doing it.
But we're global, man. Different times.
Okay, 4 years. Okay, but a lot of things have happened in that time. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just happy for Reece, but again, I still want us to sign another winger, if possible, another forward player, or wide forward, or whatever you guys call it, that has a similar quality to Xhaka, so that you don't see a drop off when he's injured or when he's substituted. You know, we saw that a lot this season.
There's been links with Chukwueze. Nigerian player, of course.
Yes, that's a Nigerian
from
boy.
Villarreal, but there's
Yes.
been a lot of links with him throughout the summer.
Yeah. Milan are talking at the moment with
Yeah.
him as well, so I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll wait and see.
You can have Nigerians just on the right flank of Arsenal. Bro, what are you saying?
Now, I understand this exclusive breaking news that I was told earlier on that Turkish has penned a leaving message to Granit Xhaka. Now, is that true?
Can you confirm or deny?
he must be Turkish for today, I didn't pen nothing for Xhaka. It is what it is.
Right, Granit Xhaka yesterday leaving quite an emotional message that he said, you know, we're basically saying that it's been a long journey with the Arsenal fans. I was there for 7 years. There were some downs, but there was ups and downs. But you know, he loved it, and he'll always be an Arsenal fan. He'll always be a Gunner. And you know, if you looked at the reaction from the fans, it was pure goodwill. I mean, everyone wishing him all the best. A lot of people were really upset actually that he's leaving, thinking that maybe we should have kept him. But he's gone now. He's joined Bayer Leverkusen, £21.5 million for him. It's a good bit of business by Arsenal to. I think that represents 25 million euros to get that. Originally, it was looking like about 12 million pounds.
Yeah.
So they've got a good amount of money for him. But you sad to see him leave Turkish? I know. In previous years, you've not been a fan, but over the last couple of seasons, he's won you over, hasn't he?
Yeah, last season, I'd say 100% that one sticks out more than the rest. I'm as sad, no, far from being sad. Look at what Arsenal are doing. We challenged for the league last year. We spent 100 million on one player. It very much feels like a new era. So sad, far from that. But I would have liked him to stay.
Yeah.
This is the only summer in the entirety of his contract that I would be saying I want him to stay. Every other summer, trust me, I'll be here laughing. I'll be saying it's about time. I'll be saying thank God for that. It's over. This summer, it's like, all right, Rice has come in, Havertz has come in. We've lost Xhaka. I still want another midfielder. So as much as, you know, Xhaka did turn it around at the end, and there was a lot of downs, there was an up at the end, whether it's one season or two, like, you know, a lot of fans like to mention it's been 2 seasons, he's turned it around. But for me, it's, you know, a good fee, a good time for him to leave. I believe he's been told minutes will be less next season. So he had the choice to make. It is what it is. I'm not too fussed, if I'm honest. I'm just glad that I won't be asked about my thoughts on Granit Xhaka no more.
Unless we played him in the Champions League or something. and he scores.
Then it's peak.
What about you, Kelechi? I mean, I remember over the years, you've always been a big advocate for Granit Xhaka. I remember actually, even when the whole incident kicked off and he came off the pitch and that, you was calling for calm. You was saying, you know, listen, man, the guy's got feelings. You know what I mean?
Oh, you remember? Wow, how many years ago? Wow, brilliant.
Yeah, I remember, right? And you called for calm on it. Mikel Arteta, basically, when he came in, a lot of people thought that's it for Xhaka. He's gone. Mikel Arteta said no. Xhaka's a top player. Xhaka's got the right mentality. There's still a lot of kickback against that as well. You again was like, no, give him a chance, and he's been excellent since Arteta's come in, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. And you know, the way I look at it, I don't see myself as the best football knowledgeable person. You know, I know that someone like Arsene Wenger is way knowledgeable than me. Mikel Arteta is way knowledgeable than me. Mourinho, Emery, all these man them. Either they wanted him or they played him. So who am I? I'm just a local man with zero football knowledge. Sir. That's the way I see it. So when that stuff happened and I came out for calm and all that, I could see a footballer in him. He just needed a hand around the shoulder. We are all human, you know. If anything happens to, I mean, I don't have a kid yet. If you're threatening my kid or anything, I know I'm going to react badly. You know, it's an emotional reaction. So he left, you know, he starts, you know, 23 goals or something, you know, 27 assists, not too bad. But I'm also an advocate of, if you qualify someone for the Champions League, I think you should play. If a coach qualifies someone for the World Cup, I don't think you should sack him. You should take the team to the World Cup. So that's why I wanted him and Partey to play. At least they've gotten us there finally. They have the right to play. If you get promoted like Luton FC now, they can't sell all their players. Some of those, the fulcrum, will play in the Premier League. They are the ones that brought them to the Premier League. You understand? That's the way I see it. So it hurt me a bit that he can't play the Champions League that he desires to play for Arsenal. Fine, he's a player, he needs to look after himself. If we're offering him, you know, when they pass 30 years, we offer 1 year. and the team's offering him 4 years. I mean, come on, you take the 4 years. So it makes sense, you know. So I wish him well. I wish him really the best.
No more Xhaka. It's gone.
No more Xhaka. I would say that, bit like Kelechi, I have been over the years an advocate for Granit Xhaka. I remember having several heated discussions with my man Turkish here, and with Curtis on the Turkish Cheap Show. We used to go back and forth regularly about Granit Xhaka. I've always considered him as a person with underrated skills, and what I liked about him, probably more than his skills, was the fact that he was a person of character.
Yeah.
So when things got sticky on the pitch, you could rely on him. Well, I know people will point to his disciplinary record, but you know what I mean, he's got that kind of character, that kind of person that you need when things are going tough and get a bit sticky. So listen, man, I thought he was very good for Arsenal over the years. Definitely in the last couple of years, his level went up, which is good. That being said, though, I would agree with Turkish. I think it's time now. I think the move is mutually beneficial for both parties. It's good for him and it's good for Arsenal. He could ride off into the sunset by Leverkusen, do his thing. Arsenal starting to move in a slightly new direction. And I think it works well for both parties.
Yep. Well, farewell to Granit Xhaka. He's left officially, and it's the Declan Rice era now. Declan Rice is the guy in through the door. I don't know if any of you guys saw this story, right, in the Independent, where they wrote that Kylian Mbappe, right, if he was ever to move to England, would prefer a move to Arsenal over any other team in the Premier League. Do you see that? You were getting mocked for saying something about that on DR Sports, weren't you? Where you were saying that you want to see Arsenal in for players like Mbappe in the future.
100%. Well, why shouldn't we be in for the best players in the world? We moved into a big stadium to increase revenue, to compete with Bayern Munich and all of that. Why shouldn't we be in for the best players? Over the years since we moved into this stadium, the commercial revenue figures for the Premier League have gone up tenfold. So right now, the reason I've been so frustrated over the years is because I know Arsenal can do this. I know Arsenal can flex. We should have been flexing. Finally, it seems like that's what we're doing. We're challenging on the pitch, we're flexing off the pitch. So if we continue in this manner moving forward, if we challenge for the league again, if we win the league next season, if we go far in the Champions League, when his contract's up, why not go in? But I know now PSG are kind of giving him an ultimatum, 2 weeks, give us your answer or we'll sell you. It becomes a lot more difficult then because we've spent 100 mil on Rice. Unrealistic to spend 150, 200 on Mbappe. I'm just talking about if he is available on a free transfer. When you look at the most attractive clubs, not only in the Premier League, because if you're one of the most attractive in the Premier League, you're one of the most attractive in the world. Arsenal are top 2 in the Premier League and Arsenal are top 5 in world football. If we're talking about attractiveness right now, project, process, all of that, we are top 5 in Europe. So I don't see why he wouldn't.
Okay. Well,
I
listen.
think the mere fact that we're even linked with him shows you how much the club is progressing.
And he must know about Thierry Henry's time at Arsenal.
I was going to reference that because I came across a story today where one of the I think it was Ray Parlour, was suggesting that, and he was being serious when he said it, that Thierry Henry, nonetheless, might be in a position where he could persuade Mbappe to come, because obviously growing up, Henry was his idol, and they get on well apparently.
Zidane was his idol, I believe, but he knows a lot.
In terms of French players, Henry was his idol.
Why don't we get Kelechi to speak to him? He knows Saka. You know what I mean? He was over in France. He was over in France.
No, we can speak to my African brothers in Cameroon, you know.
Yeah.
The UFC fighter is there with him. They are playing basketball.
In Ghana.
You know? Yeah. Our people. We can.
And you know him? Have a word, man.
Send me private jet.
Victor Osimhen, can you have a word with him as well?
Victor, that's my boy. That's no problem. If
So what are you saying? Get him to come to Arsenal.
No problem. Why?
No problem. There we go. Exclusive.
All right.
Actually, I think Saliba and Mbappe have that commonality, don't they? They have the same lineage, Cameroonian and Algerian parents.
All right.
Yeah.
Come on, Mbappe, man. What are you waiting for, man? Get over here to Arsenal. Right. We're going to go to our round when we get the buzzers out, and I've got some questions to put to these two. Right. We move to my favourite part of the show, the buzzer round. Right. Kelechi, you're new to this. If you're in disagreement with something, you press the buzzer and you give your reasons why. Right. Could you ever see a day, this is the first question I'm going to ask you, could you ever see the day when Kylian Mbappe joins Arsenal? No.
Yeah, as much as I want it, I can't see it. The owners need to do more than just spend 100 million on rights for me to see it happen. But I want it to happen.
You can see it happen, Kelechi, one day.
Yes, football magic happens. No one can just wake up one morning and decide that he's joining. I mean, he's probably going to end up in Real Madrid, but he's only still 23. After 4 years, he might want to seek a new challenge. Who knows? If he was older, I would say no, but he's still very young.
He'd probably end up in Saudi Arabia. 1 billion a week.
I forgot that bit, but
right. Question number 2: is Granit Xhaka an Arsenal legend?
Is that no? What I just did there? Because it better be no.
That's no.
Kelechi, hit that, please.
no, yes, he is. He is.
All right. Kelechi, you say he is.
I was going to say that. I'm like, no, don't do that.
Tell us why he's an Arsenal legend.
I mean, he spent 7 years at the club, gave his heart out, played really well. As a human being and as a footballer, you will make mistakes. There are down times, definitely, but he's turned it around, and for me, that's a legendary move for you to turn it around. He was the leader without the armband. Everybody knows that. And from his departure yesterday, you can see the appeal. Everybody knows he's a legend for me.
Oh. Not a legend for you?
Never. Not even close.
The way you turned it, you know what?
I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
I get that.
So it sounds rude, but
is there a way sometimes where I don't know if you think this, Laurie, that sometimes you can become a legend. I don't know if it's legend or cult status, right?
Cult hero,
because it's his story, isn't it? Another player may become a legend because they won you the Champions League or their goal scoring record or whatever, but there's some players, it's their story. Now their backstory. His backstory is he had it really, really tough at Arsenal till it went so bad when he had that big fallout, public fallout with the fans, and every fan wanted him gone. And then almost like part 2 is the rehabilitation, where he becomes this player that's like one of the first names on the team sheet for Arsenal last season. So even at the end of the season, fans were singing to him, we want you to stay. The same fans probably that booed him off the pitch and said to him, we want you to go. Has that made him a legend?
Nah, that doesn't make you a legend. I mean, it's a nice story, but to be a legend, I mean, you've got to be committed and loyal. I guess you can say he's been committed and loyal to the club through a lot of turmoil and up and a lot of downs. Okay, committed and loyal. But you've got to be able to achieve something big with the club. You have to be able to achieve alongside that. Hearing Xhaka and legend in the same sentence
FA Cup
makes me think Vieira and Partey and midfielders, Gilberto, midfielders of the golden era I grew up in, and Xhaka's not close to them, man. Regardless of a turnaround in story and
I would agree with you. I think when you think about the term legend, especially as it relates to Arsenal, you're talking about Henry, Ian Wright, Bergkamp, Tony Adams, and the list goes on. I wouldn't quite put Xhaka in that bracket yet. But you know what it is with the phrase legend is that over time, people will start to put him in that
I was going to ask you
I'll
something.
give you an example, right?
I want to give them an example. I'm just using a different club now, West Ham. Is Mark Noble a West Ham legend? Yes, he is.
Yes.
Is Declan Rice a West Ham legend?
Yes.
Of course. One didn't win a trophy, one won a trophy. Going by what Turkish is saying.
That's very true.
But
Do you understand? So if they had lost that Champions League Conference League final, would he have been a legend? Probably not. But because he has won a trophy.
Yeah, that made
Manchester
him,
City, Manchester City, look at all the legends they've got, like Aguero, Haaland will be one, Toure, Yaya Toure, and that, right?
Company.
But Sean Gota is also a legend of that club.
Exactly.
He didn't win nothing, did he?
He didn't win.
Yeah, but different times,
No, but he's a legend, isn't he?
He's a legend, but because at that time, Man City weren't dreaming of winning the majors. When you start winning the majors and you're in that top end, part of becoming a legend for the club is, in my opinion, winning stuff.
But what about his story? Is his story and his, and he did win the FA Cup with Arsenal, but his story and his comeback, has that made him a legend?
Nah.
No?
People will try, but nah.
I want to throw this one out there to you guys.
Throw it back.
The chat, I want to ask you guys, for you, is Granit Xhaka a legend? And if he is, why? And if he's not, you think he's not like Turkish, give us your reasons why. I've got another one on Granit Xhaka. Do you think Granit Xhaka will make a good manager in the future?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Why Kelechi?
He's already doing his badges actually. He's doing it with Nani and who again? I think there are 3 of them doing it in Arsenal at the moment. And you can see even from the videos, I know the videos don't state everything, but even from how he demands his demands on the pitch from his players, you can see the respect that he commands. And obviously we need to then see his technical ability. But from what I've seen from his playing career, from the clips we've seen from him doing his badges, I think he'll make a very good manager. And he's learning from different managers as well. When you play under different managers, and I'm sure he learned a lot from Mikel, those components are what you're going to grow with. So I think he'll make a good manager.
You said no again. You don't think he'll make a good manager?
Nah,
he's got leadership qualities, hasn't he?
Yeah,
he does. But listen, it's hard to predict. Great players don't necessarily become great managers, and average
but you
players
can't call him a
can
great
become-
player. That's the thing.
Yeah, but average players can become a great manager.
Yeah, exactly.
So it can happen, but with Granit Xhaka for me, I think, I don't know if he's got the standards. Something with Mikel Arteta, he's got high standards. Now, as much as we can praise Xhaka for the last year, he was also part of a group of players that had no standards, and that's why our club went in the direction it went into, falling into 8th twice. The dressing room had no standards, and Xhaka was a part of that. Now he's evolved and he's come out of that pack as someone who's got leadership qualities, who's managed to turn it around, but also his temperament, And then in my head, as soon as I said temperament, I thought Diego Simeone, who on the pitch
I was going to say
was a madman.
Simeone, Conte.
But as managers, they've done very well. That's why it's hard to predict. But I just don't think Granit Xhaka will become.
You think he'll make a good manager?
I think he would. You touched on it, leadership skills. He's captained his club, he's captained his country. He's got a wealth of experience. If you listen to the way he talks about the game, he seems to have a deep knowledge of the game. Kelechi touched on it as well, he's doing his badges. I think, obviously he'll have to start at a certain level. We wouldn't expect him to get a top job straight away.
That level is important. You have to start humble.
Yeah.
You understand? If they tell you manage under 18, go and manage under 18. If you know what I'm talking about.
Manager of Arsenal one day, maybe.
Who knows? That's
Future
football
Arsenal
for
manager,
you.
You never know.
That's football for you.
Please.
Let's hear it on the buzzers. Future Arsenal manager.
What are you asking now?
Granit Xhaka, will he be a future Arsenal manager? I reckon he could be. I reckon he could be.
No, I'm bantering. Listen, I don't know Arteta. Listen,
Yeah.
Arteta's era at Arsenal, it's not an era I really want to remember as a player. So when he came in as a manager, I was just like, what the hell's going on? But look what he's doing as manager. So who knows? Who knows what could happen?
Okay, I want to ask you now about some incomings, right? We've been linked with so many right backs at the moment. I don't know what it is, right? And there's stuff in these right backs as well. Jeremy Frimpong of Bayer Leverkusen. Do you think this could happen? You're both going no.
Yeah.
No?
Nah. Any more right backs will be right back FC at the moment. we've got Ben White, Tomiyasu, Timbers coming in. Brooke Norton Coffey, in my opinion, is an exciting prospect as well. So we've got 3-4 right backs on our books, very different profiles. So I don't think we need to entertain anymore.
There's another one, Benjamin Heinrichs, linked.
Same reason.
No, you're not feeling him. All right, what about this? A right winger. We spoke about Chukwueze earlier on, and there's maybe a backup to Saka. Moussa Diaby of Bayer Leverkusen.
I wouldn't mind him.
He costs a lot of money, but we've been linked with him a lot.
Yeah, I think we need another attacker.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind him being.
So you'd like to see him?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Outgoings though. Thomas Partey. Do you think Thomas Partey will be at the Emirates Stadium come September the 1st when the window closes?
Do we think?
Yeah, do you think he'll still be an Arsenal player, or do you think he'll leave?
I hope so.
From what I've heard, I don't think. But do I want?
think he'll leave?
Yes.
Do I want?
Do you think he'll stay? No, what do you think's going to happen? You think he'll leave or stay?
I don't know. I think he was. I think he wants to stay, and the club don't want him to stay. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
It's because of what I've read about, recently, was it Ornstein that said the club and Partey's reps are finding exit solutions. It just reads like, what? Why?
Why? Because if God forbid the Clarice gets injured, why are we going to play?
I know, I don't really.
And that's what happened with Saliba. Who are we going to play? And what's his name? Gabriel Jesus just alluded to that. He said, when I was injured, Nketiah filled in well for me, and then we bought the guy from Brighton, Trossard. But at the back, it wasn't the same quality. He just said that. So yes, maybe the player might be angry that he might not get minutes like that or something, but have him around. You can't.
Okay.
Hopefully, he is.
I would say that we need him to stay.
Yeah, we need him to stay.
If you look at last
100%.
season, whilst it's fair to say his performance has kind of tailed off towards the end of the season and he got injured, if you look at that beginning part of the season and going right up until
West Ham.
Yeah,
was
until
good.
basically you could say until our challenge kind of faltered.
Yeah.
He was one of our best players,
Yeah, of course.
scoring goals.
But after the West Ham
right
game, it
there.
looks like some people just
But
wrote him off.
he does have a concern with regards to injury.
Yeah, but that's when if you don't have Declan Rice, you can never manage him.
Yeah.
You understand? I asked Xhaka like in Lagos, like, bro, you were getting kicked almost every game, and then you reacted. It was Aston Villa that he reacted for the first time. He pushed the player. You understand? So you don't wait for the man's leg to be injured for it to break before you now say, oh.
We're definitely a better team with an informed Partey in
Yeah,
us.
100%.
Okay. Following Balogun, we've spoken about him before on the show. Apparently, he's been, there's lots of conflicting stuff this week. There was talk that Mikel Arteta wants to get him in for talks because he's maybe interested in him letting him stay. There's talks that Balogun himself would like to leave, and then there's further talks. There was some news that come out today that he's been having talks with Chelsea.
Oh, wow.
Right? That's a rumour, right? I think it was Football Insiders who went with that rumour that he's been having talks with Chelsea, but certainly his future's uncertain. Do you think he'll still be at Arsenal at the end of the transfer window, yes or no? No, Kelechi, you're saying?
There's one thing stopping me pressing that, and it's because he's chosen USA now, and our owners are Kroenkes. And I just
That's good thinking.
that commercial kind of appeal. I think
That's
it'd
good
be a
thinking.
surprise.
That's good thinking. Yeah.
If it was to happen, I think it's because Balogun would have pushed for it. But I think with that whole US rep, he could be the star for that country now, because Pulisic definitely hasn't worked out. I think it'd be wise for Arsenal to potentially keep him.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, but he wouldn't want to be second or third choice. That's the problem. And Nketiah and Jesus are kind of slightly similar in the way they play. He's quite different from them. And with the way Arteta plays, I don't think he will fit in at the moment. Just because of the way
I'd like to see him being given a chance, to be honest with you. I think that...
Give him a chance or cash in, take the 50 million.
No, I'd like to see him given a chance, and I'll tell you the reason why, because I do think we need a striker. We've gone out, there's been a massive outlay on people like Declan Rice and Timber and people like that, but we do need some more attacking options, because let's be honest, as much as I would have liked it to have worked out last season, Eddie didn't quite work. Wasn't even getting any significant game time towards the end of last season. To me, that shows that the manager didn't quite have the faith in him. Jesus, we all know, is an excellent player, but I think it's also fair to say he's not exactly prolific in terms of goals. The numbers will tell you that, both at his time at Arsenal and at Man City. So we do need a striking option. If we've got someone there, ready there, available, why not? We know he's a good player, he's gone on loan, he's done the business. Listen, man, give him a chance.
No, judging by that, I mean, that means you have to give Tavares a chance as well. He did
Well, the next player I was going to ask was Nuno Tavares.
You give
Will
everybody a
Nuno
chance.
Tavares still be at Arsenal come the end of the transfer window?
No, you understand? I'm just judging by what he's saying.
But you think he should be given a chance?
No, but bro, we know that he won't be given a chance because there are people ahead of him already. Where are you giving him the chance? That's what I'm asking. If you're talking about Eddie, yes, I mean, his competitors come out to back him to say there was no drop-off when I was injured. And towards the end, Eddie was injured until he came back against West Ham or something like that. You know, if you had Eddie, for instance, in a game like against Liverpool, at least he would still try and hold his ground against Konate. But he had Leandro Trossard to mark Konate. That was a complete mismatch. So they all have their different attributes, you understand? So I'm keen to see what the manager does. I think he likes to play with he's just kind of striker, not like a point man. So I'm keen to see what he does. But yeah, Tavares, I don't see him staying.
Okay, well, listen, we come towards the end of the show today. I've got one final question to actually just to ask you two before you go with the buzzers, right? But Laurie, thank you very much for coming. Kelechi, thank you very much. And thank you very much to you, Turkish. But just before you go, I've got this burning question I've got to ask. What is the better partnership, right? Get your buzzers ready. What is a better Which one of these partnerships is the better one? Saka and Emil Smith Rowe, or Kelechi and Saka?
Bro, please, yeah, just look at people. Please don't put me in that bracket, bro. I'm not even earning £1,000 a week, bro. Right. Those guys are eating money, bro.
If you think Saka and Emil Smith Rowe, you can press the buzzers. If you think it's Kelechi and Saka, don't press.
It's Saka and Emil Smith Rowe.
I've seen more of Saka and Kelechi together than Emil recently, so let him get back on the pitch and I might press that buzzer.
Listen, thank you very much for watching Talking Transfers. Don't forget, right here on AFTV, we keep you up to date with all the transfers that's happening. We've got Transfer Daily every single day, 7 days a week. We also have transfer updates throughout the day on any bit of breaking news. So keep it locked here on AFTV. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications now, and we'll be back next week. James will be back in the building with another Talking Transfers. Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.